Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of YSN Live. I'm Anthony Hartwig. DJ is in a business meeting today, so you got me by myself, which is okay. We're going to take care of you. It's Friday. Nothing can go wrong on a Friday, and nothing's going wrong here on YSN Live because we have a show that is just filled to the brim with awesome interviews, some pre-recorded, some live, and we're going to start with a live one, someone that's coming on the show with us live, someone that is now 4 for 4 in district championship games at South Range. Every year, from freshman to senior year, they've won it, and coming from South Range to talk about being a part of that kind of greatness is Riley DeChancio. Riley, thanks for coming on, girl. We are so happy to have you on.
Thank you.
Should we start calling you De Champion? Is that something that we should?
That is just fine. It is up to you, whatever you would like.
With the 4 for 4, going throughout your high school career, winning district championships the way you have. What's that like? Like, not everyone gets to experience that by a long shot. What's that been like for you?
It's very exciting. So as a freshman, I was swinging both from JV to varsity, and it was really nice to be with those girls as well. And every year it's been more special, especially this year now that I can call myself the senior, and me and my friends are able to do it every year.
You reflect on the first one. Like you said, freshman year, you were kind of getting your feet wet for varsity, swinging back and forth. What are some of the big changes you see from that year to this year in yourself?
In myself personally, I have overcome a lot of mental blocks, and at the end of the day, I have to remind myself that it's just a part of the game and it happens, and every day you got to get better.
Since you no longer have those mental slumps anymore, obviously, with the success you're having, when did it click for you? When do you think you finally got, confidence and got things rolling throughout your career?
Honestly, probably this year. This year has been the biggest year for me, mentally especially. I've also overcome a lot of physical things over the years, but this year, definitely mentally, I've had the best year yet.
If you go through the years, every year your role on the team grew a little bit. You were asked to do a little bit more. This year was no different, and you knew that coming into the season. You knew, hey, I'm going to be asked of a lot. I'm going to have a lot on my shoulders as a senior, as a leader, as someone on this team that's just expected to do good things. What was that like getting ready for senior season, knowing that there was going to be just a little bit more responsibility and things demanded of you?
If I'm being honest, it really wasn't that terrible. The girls that we play with every single year, they feel like sisters, so it doesn't feel like that much of a difference. And everybody pretty much does well, and listening and understanding when it's time for the game, it's time for the game.
We've been talking to your teammates, and obviously this is a South Range season that if you told people this is how it went back in maybe January, they would say, well, no, we're going to have all the pieces that we have, injuries and all these things kind of plagued you guys throughout the year. But you stood tall through it. Talk about grinding through that as a senior and trying to keep this team positive through a lot of adversity that you guys had to face both before the season started and during the season?
We really just had to stay close to one another and lean on one another and understand that things aren't always going to go our way. And whether we have win or lose, we have to bounce back and keep going.
Through all the ups and downs of the season, you guys seem to be streaking at the right time. Your offense is lighting it up. You just got that 12-5 win in the district championship. What kind of lets this team know exactly when to turn it on when tournament time comes up?
Well, when we went into the first playoff game, Coach Starkey said that it was a new season from that point on and that we were going to be a new team. And that's really just what we've done.
All right, since you're a new team, I guess the big question is, what's the biggest difference between, before tournament time and the team right now that's playing now in regional semifinal?
I think that we're really putting in our entire effort and our all because we know that any game could be our last, especially for us seniors. I know that Jaylee's going on to play in college, but for the rest of us, we aren't. So we know that it's going to be our last. And I feel like since we do have that close sisterhood between all of us on the team, everybody understands that we really need to just go all out.
All right, as a senior, you've been able to see a lot of young players come up and really fill in big roles in this team, and you're trying to lead them and guide them along their way. You were a freshman once too. You were an underclassman. How proud are you as a senior of seeing these girls that are freshmen or underclassmen coming up and just making monster impacts on the field for this team?
I am extremely proud of Mud. Well, Sophia Brogan, she is spectacular. I mean, she's just amazing on the field and off. Her and her sister both, the Brogan sisters, love them. They are amazing. And it's awesome.
They are. Are there any of those underclassmen that you feel like you've taken a special interest in, that you feel like you've taken under your wing a little bit, and when they succeed even more as they go on, you're going to feel a little bit of a sense of pride knowing that, you really helped them along their journey?
For underclassmen, so I consider the junior class as upperclassmen, so I would probably say also Mud. I feel like all of us on the team have stuck very close to her, and anytime that she's succeeding, it feels like, well, really for anybody succeeding, it feels like the entire team is, but especially with Mud. I'm just so proud of her.
I also want to talk about this outfield at South Range because you're a part of it, and it's a certified no-fly zone back there. Whether it's Selena back there or if she's pitching, you in center field, whoever's out there, you guys have a lockdown outfield. And what's it like to be a part of a unit out there? Left, center, right, doesn't matter. Where you all trust each other, you communicate so well, and to do that, you have to trust each other so well. So what's it like to be a part of this unit in the outfield?
It's honestly great because whether I'm playing right or center, I know that I can trust the people around me, and we can count on each other to know that if we need help getting a ball or we can't see in the sun. One fun thing that I say in right field whenever Selena's in center, I can just say Sol because it's either saying sun or Selena. And it's a funny little thing that we have with each other.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite, center or right, that you like to be in?
I don't. I love both of them.
When you think about, being a senior and all the emotions that come with senior year, you're doing a lot of things for the last time. Like you said, not playing softball in college. So this is the last time that you get to lace up as a softball player. How have you handled the emotional aspect of senior year and trying to, deal with all that?
Honestly, I feel like I'm very detached from it. I mean, I graduate in 2 days. I'm not really feeling the fact that it's going to be the last season, the last time that I'm at school. And I feel like it's going to hit me once it's over.
Did it hit you at all during senior night? Was that one of the things that was like, this is kind of real, or did that kind of feel numb to you?
It did. It did a lot on senior night. But then, at the beginning of the season for the games, it felt like we were still in the playoff season, leading off from last year. It felt like there wasn't really a gap in between, other than losing Gretchen last year, which was so hard because she was one of my best friends. However, I feel like on senior night especially, I was definitely feeling the fact that, this is the last time that I'm going to be playing with these girls, and it's pretty sad.
One of the things that we loved about senior night are the seniors brought their dads on for one last catch. We haven't gotten a chance to talk to a senior about that yet. What was it like for you to be able to experience that during senior night?
It was awesome. My mom was there. She was catching. The very first one went straight past her head and it almost hit her, but it was so amazing. It was awesome to share that with her.
You'd be in a lot of trouble if you hit your mom.
I know. It literally went right past her head.
A lot of trouble. No dinner for you. Talk more about your family and the support you get and how much that means to you going through your whole career and how much you can reflect on how much support you've gotten.
My mom is definitely my biggest supporter. I can remember her at almost every single game, taking me to every practice, rain or shine, whether she wanted to be there or not. She always had a smile on her face cheering me on. It's awesome to be able to look back and have that.
You have great role models in your life. You're talking about your mom that's always there for you. How much do you think the role models in your life help you be a role model to, whether it be the underclassmen or whether it even be younger girls in the community that want to be on the team in the future?
It's helped me a lot because my mom always tells me that it's part of the game and it's going to happen. If I strike out or I miss a ball, it's all part of the game. And when you're on the other side of it, you don't really understand and see the hurt that it is and that the other person is going through. So I try and explain that to the other girls on the team. As upset you are with yourself, other people are on the other side having the joy that you have whenever somebody else has it. So it's important to just move on from it and keep going.
Yesterday on the show, we talked about Coach DeRose and Coach Farron and the success they've had since they kind of took this role together back in 2010. You guys have won 11 district champions since that point. From your perspective, you've been with them for 4 years. What does this staff, and especially those two, what do they bring to the field, to the culture, to the program that you think has let this team be so successful for so long?
A main thing that they do is they hype us up before every game and just they have us keep going and they give us a goal. And this year's goal was to make it to the regional tournament. And we're there now. So now they made our next goal to get to the state tournament. And it's just, I love that we always have a goal and we're always working towards something.
Since we only get to see them during a game, take us through like a typical South Range softball practice. What are some things that you always know that are going to be said from Coach DeRose? What are some things that he likes to harp on? What are some things that really are core fundamentals to a Coach DeRose-led softball team?
At the beginning of the season, we always are doing Stevies every single day. I don't know if you know what those are, but like there'd be, I guess you'd call them everydays. Those are something. Those will always stick with you. But I know that we'll go through Stevies, we'll do tweeners, we'll do 7 innings every single practice.
What are you going to miss the most about this program when you graduate and you're no longer a part of this softball program? What are some things you're going to miss the most?
I'm going to miss the girls on the team, definitely. They have some of my best friends, and every single one of them truly do feel like sisters, and that's going to miss the most.
We are definitely not going to let you out of here without talking about your future. You're going on to do great things, maybe not on the softball field, but great things nonetheless. What are some of your future plans? What do you see for yourself on the horizon?
I am planning to attend YSU. I believe, as of now, I'm entering undecided, but I think that I want to go into business management and then further go on to pursue real estate.
What kind of drove you towards wanting to, go into business management and then having that track lead to real estate? Are there people in your life that are realtors that kind of showed you the way, or is that something you've been interested in for a long time? What got you into that career path?
I've been interested in it for a while. As like a child, I moved around a lot, and I've always wanted to be the one to bless families with their forever home, and I would love to be able to do that.
YSU is close to home. Are you going to be living on campus still? Or are you going to be one of those people that stays home and commutes to campus?
I'm going to live at home with my mom and my little brother. Yeah, it's only 15 minutes away, so why not?
Gotta stay at home, right? So I guess the normal question we ask when people are going to college is what they're going to miss most about home and the things that they're leaving. But I'll still ask you this. What is something that a comfort of home that when you do eventually leave the nest that you think you're going to miss the most? What is something that your mom does for you almost every day that maybe you have to learn before you leave the nest?
I got to think about that. I think that I'm definitely going to miss the bond that my mom and I have because we're able to talk to each other about literally anything. And I mean, I know that I can still call her, but it means more whenever you're able to be in person and give a hug.
What's your mom's best home-cooked meal that you're going to miss the most?
Probably her garlic parm chicken and potatoes. So amazing.
Right around lunchtime.
Grandma make a killer peach cobbler.
We're always asking food questions right around lunchtime. It's a mistake on my part because then I get hungry.
Okay. I just got up from roads. I'm good.
I love it. Talk about the bond you said you have between you and your mom, and how much do you think that helps you? We talked about being a role model, but what does it help you in the future that you think about, business and all the things that you're going to be having to learn, how many lessons are you going to take away from your mom and the things that she's been able to teach you?
My mom is somebody who has lived through a lot, so she gives great advice and so many life lessons. So I'm going to be able to carry those on to whether I give them to my friends or to family or just other people that I meet in life. There's always something that I can give.
Riley, my last question for you is going to be, when you graduate in 2 days and you hold that diploma, you reflect on all the things you've been able to do at South Range. What are going to be some of the things that you're most proud of yourself for being able to accomplish, whether it be on the softball diamond, in this classroom? What are some things that you're really proud of yourself for being able to do?
One of the most proud of things that I would say is actually related to school and friends. I came here my freshman year, and I'm very proud of myself for being able to overcome the academic challenge and difference from my old school, and also having the ability to build the friends and close bonds that I've had, and whether they are just inside of the school or whenever they carry on to the field.
Riley, we end these player profiles the same way every time. We want to give you the chance to thank your support staff, the people that are always there for you no matter what, and as many as you want to thank and give shout outs to, I want to give you the time to do so.
Okay. I would like to thank my mom, of course, my older brother, Dean, my grandma, and Larry. Let's see who else. My Uncle Mark, I think he's watching this right now. And then I would also like to thank my closest friends. I would love to thank Giada and Heidi, Anna, Kira. I would love to thank all of them, and then the entire softball team.
Riley, we want to thank you so much for coming on, talking to us today. We appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck in regionals coming up. We know you want to make that run to state. We'd love to ride along with you. We will talk to you in real soon. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it, Riley. Riley DeChancio may be named a champion now because it's 4 for 4, and not a lot of people get to do that their whole career. I mean, talk about that, like going from freshman to senior year, winning every single district championship, 4 for 4. Well, I think we have a Fitch class that is trying to do that too. Steve Ward will correct me if they've already done it. Their seniors, I think their seniors would be able to go 4 for 4. I don't know if last year's seniors went 4 for 4. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. South Range actually, since they've won 6 in a row, their last 2 senior classes have also gone 4 for 4. So that's something to be really, really insane about. South Range softball is on top of a mountain right now, and they're going to be hard to keep out of anything that you want to do, whether you're talking about state, whether you're talking about the regional finals. It's going to be really fun to watch. Wednesday, I believe, it's the regional semifinal. They will play the winner of Poland versus Champion, which is scheduled to play tomorrow at noon at Hubbard High School. So tomorrow at noon, Champion and Poland are playing each other, which means we're guaranteed somebody in YSN family into the regional final, whether it be Champion, whether it be Poland, whether it be South Range. Someone's going to have a chance to fight for a state berth, which is really exciting here at YSN. That goes along with the 16 softball teams that are still alive in the tournament going into today, because nothing was played yesterday. Another Mother Nature ruined day. We had a couple of baseball games get in, but nothing in the softball districts was played yesterday. There are games happening tonight, weather pending. Some games have moved spots, but we have 3 broadcasts that are going to be on YSN tonight thanks to generous sponsors. We will have Louisville softball versus Revere. That one will be thanks to a sponsor from Zealous Nutrition. So the Leopards will be on in their district championship game. Maplewood softball got a sponsorship from Gibson Insurance Agency, so we want to thank them for their generous donation and sponsorship that helps us pay for the OHSA fees that we have to pay to broadcast. So Maplewood versus Cuyahoga Heights will be on the network tonight. That'll be a 5 o'clock start. If you are looking to go to that game, it was originally scheduled to be in Norway, but I want to let everybody know, in case you didn't know, Maplewood will now be playing at Berea Mid-Park Titan Field. So don't go to Norway. No one will be there, and you'll be really upset. Go to Berea Mid-Park. That's where that game's happening. District Championship, Cuyahoga Heights versus Maplewood. And then the one that leads us all off at 3 o'clock, Fitch is taking on Strongsville for the District Championship game. That one is sponsored by the Fitch Athletic Boosters. That one will be at 3. We have Ty Bartell on the call for Fitch, Rob Johnson on the call for Louisville at 4, and then Noah Ricks on the call for Maplewood at 5. So that'll be full day of softball. You get back to back to back. And if you're a softball junkie like me, you also got super regionals for the NCAA softball tournament going on right now. I may or may not have it on the TV right in front of me. If you see me glance, don't judge. But softball is super regionals going on right now, as well as district championships. It's a good day to be a softball fan. It's a good day to be a softball fan. It's also a good day to be on YSN Live because we have a jam-packed show. We have the brand new head basketball coach of Louisville coming on to the show. It is a pre-recorded interview with DJ. He was able to get him yesterday. David Wentz, hired from Louisville, taking over that boys basketball program that won a state championship. What's it like taking over a state championship team? What's it like stepping into the shadows of a legend in Tom Siegfried? Let's find it all out. Let's see what DJ had to ask, and what David had to say about taking over this program. Here is Louisville's brand new boys basketball coach, David Wentz, with DJ Yokley here on YSN Live.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there has been a lot of questions surrounding Louisville since Tom Siegfried stepped away from the championship Louisville Leopards. Just felt like moments ago, but it's been weeks now, and they found their man. And stopping here first is the brand spanking new basketball coach, a young man who is looking to take the Louisville Leopards to the next level, believe it or not, and it sounds like he will. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest head coach of the Louisville Leopards, Dave Wirtz. What's up, Coach? Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited to get started.
Yeah, I can imagine. First question has to be, obviously, when you look at what you have in the cupboard, with what just happened, you are a part of the staff, your third year here in Louisville, and now you're the head honcho. What has you excited about 25-26?
Is just kind of creating their own legacy for these younger guys. I had the privilege of coaching them. Actually, this senior class specifically was the first class that I came in with when they were freshmen. And I know they're ready to make their own legacy. They're ready to step up. We've got a lot of good ball players, a lot of young ball players who have been waiting their time, who probably could have played on varsity teams last year, but ultimately had to sacrifice for the team's ultimate goal. So I've got a lot of unselfish young guys who are ready to step up and play their own roles in their journey. So we're excited.
Seems like basketball runs in your DNA a little bit. If you wouldn't mind giving just a background to those at home who are maybe meeting you for the first time, and maybe some of the expectations you're going to have for your Leopards here in the coming year.
Yeah. So Perry graduate in 2018 under Chad Spurgeon. Great coach, learned a lot from him. And then right out of high school, I coached with my dad, Jim Wirtz, who's been at Jackson for over 35 years now. He coached under Larry Taylor when they went to the Final Four, and he's been coaching middle school for the last, I believe, 7-8 years. And I, right out of high school, I wanted to kind of get involved in coaching and start to learn how a successful program's run. So I spent 4 years at Jackson working with the 7th grade and 8th grade, as well as the youth. And then once I graduated college from Kent in 2022, I looked at Louisville and found a job and immediately texted Coach Siegfried, hey, is there any way that you've got any openings? And he did. So I coached freshman my first year, and then JV the next 2 years. And once again, not only learning how the JV runs, the freshman runs, I made sure to attend middle school games, get to know the youth, and then obviously try to absorb as much knowledge as possible from Coach Siegfried. In terms of the expectations, though, we're going to continue having high expectations. We're going to continue that strength of schedule and ultimately push us for the team's ultimate goal, which is tournament success. And we're obviously going to keep the biggest thing that was instilled in us, which is a competitive attitude every single day in practice, and creating a winning attitude and competitive attitude with practice that will ultimately transition into a game.
Ultimately, we want to make this about you, but what things over the last 3 years have you learned about Coach Siegfried and the community of Louisville and their expectations for their head coaches?
Louisville, first off, is a phenomenal community. I'm very lucky to be a part of it. I actually moved here after my first year of teaching. I still lived in Perry, and I wasn't willing to make that drive. And I knew my ultimate goal was to be head coach here, and I wanted to be able to commit that time and focus to not only the players, but also the school district and the community as well. We are extremely lucky to have the fans that we do, and I think that showed last year especially. In terms of their expectations, they're blue collared, they're hardworking, and they expect the same out of us. I'm going to devote as much time as needed. I'm young. I do understand that I am 25 years old, but at the end of the day, I've got a lot of time on my hands. I don't have kids. I'm not married yet. So hopefully, especially these first couple of years, I can commit the time that's needed to keep these guys going. But expectations from the community are hopefully the same as they were the last couple of years with Coach Siegfried. Is they're going to expect a hardworking team. And I think our goal as a basketball program is playing a brand of basketball that makes the community proud. And I want to stay involved, include the community as much as possible, because at the end of the day, we're playing for them.
25 years old, just a puppy, but there's a different kind of strategy in a younger coach. Obviously, everybody has their own style. What would you describe your leadership style and your coaching style as?
I'm going to be demanding, absolutely, but I think it's important, and especially as a young coach, I've learned you can be demanding without being demeaning. And I'm going to be a positive coach. I think in my first couple years, I allowed some things that weren't necessarily controllable to affect the attitude that I had. And I learned that especially last year, that positivity and confidence is going to go a long way with these players. And I've learned that as being a young teacher as well, the older tactics that some of these coaches use in terms of fierce, I get it. Sometimes passion, especially with Coach Siegfried, sometimes passion intensity was mistaken for anger. But I'm going to be a passionate coach just like him. But in the same token, I'm going to make sure I'm staying positive with my kids, staying confident with my kids, and ultimately pushing them to what they're capable of. I know what they're capable of, but I also need them to see that. And I've got some really, really good going to be seniors, going to be juniors, and going to be sophomores who I've made the comment. I think they can be better than this current senior class. I do. And we're going to go with that.
The youth movement coming into Louisville, obviously you're going to need some elder statesmen or states ladies surrounding the program to kind of help you navigate and make sure that there's some conversation, because as you and I both know, they'll judge you for your age. Referees, officials, administrators, whoever it may be. Who are you going to surround yourself with when it comes to coaches and people around the program?
Absolutely. I am trying to bring back as much of the staff that we had last year as possible. I believed we had and do have the best staff in Ohio. I'd love Coach Nick Schiller to come back, Coach Owen Gramoy. I do have the okay from Coach Corey Perez, who has acted as my assistant these last 3 years, and he really understands the expectations of not only what I had, but Coach Siegfried as well. And we want to make sure we carry on that culture in terms of being successful, being competitive, and having those high expectations. I also plan to bring in some veteran coaches wherever I can. I know my dad has mentioned he's close to retirement. He's actually like 3 years over his retirement part, but he says he enjoys it too much. And I'd like to have some older heads around in order to, pick my brain, teach me, guide me. I'm not necessarily looking for yes men. I want to be challenged, especially as a young coach. I need that guidance, and I think adversity is going to bring that out in us. So I'm extremely excited, but bring back as much staff as possible and try to bring in some veteran coaches as well.
When you look at those veteran coaches, we talked about your expectations, but when you talk about practice and you talk about what the schedule that Louisville builds, it is, we will play anybody, anytime, anywhere, any surface, even on the moon. For you to embrace that, sounds like you already have. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to, that mentality, and who are perhaps some of the teams that you'd kind of open your schedule up to? I'm
not necessarily. It's interesting because I think some people forget last year that although we were JV, we did have to face the same teams, a lot of the same teams that the varsity did. The JV was able to pick up dubs against St. Ignatius, St. Vincent, St. Mary's, Richmond Heights, CVCA, some really good teams. Our only losses are to two phenomenal programs in Hoover and in St. Edwards. In both those games, we lost by 6. We were in it within the minute, last minute of the game. So in terms of competition, and I think that's the biggest thing that Coach Siegfried's instilled in me, is I'm not looking for wins. I could be a young coach trying to rack up their wins, absolutely. But I think that you're ultimately going to be better when you're challenged. When you face that adversity, it's going to bring out the real character in you. And I want my guys to have the mentality that, kind of like you said, we're willing to play anybody, anytime, anywhere. And actually, I coached AAU this weekend, and we faced a 3SSB team, and my kids competed extremely well. And I said, hey, I could care less. If these guys were from Mars, I don't care. I'm taking you guys. And instilling that confidence in my players, it's not just, confidence from the coach, but I need them to understand that they've got my full support. And they knew last year I'd take my kids versus a JV team in the state. And I have that same mentality with them as varsity players. We're willing to play anybody. And, although we're D3, I think the expectation's been set now that we belong to play with anybody. Although we're Division III, we can compete with those D1 powerhouses, especially in Northeast Ohio. I would like to add some Federal League schools on our schedule. I think that's great competition, especially locally. I'm not necessarily looking to travel to California, especially as my first year, like Coach Siegfried was kind of able to do. But I'm still learning that process. But we can face great competition, and I just want my guys to see for tournament time that we can hang with anybody. Success to me is not necessarily going to be marked in wins, especially this first year. It's got to be an attitude, and we've got to trust the process, because at the end of the day, it's going to be that, especially with these guys having, no real experience getting in those varsity games. This is a big summer for us. And actually, I'm meeting with Coach Siegfried here in a little bit to discuss some of those events and ins and outs and whatnot in terms of getting our kids better. So
I'm sure this has been a whirlwind experience for you. Obviously, Louisville loves their own like no other. For you, when you think about the coaching styles and the coaches and the leaders that you want to embody, what names come to mind, and who should we kind of maybe look at and go, okay, there's a piece of this, a piece of that, and some of the maybe the coaches that you've had along the way or have watched on television or have read their book or something along those lines. Who would you kind of characterize your character in being close to?
Absolutely. I'd say obviously Coach Siegfried. I'm going to have a passion about the game. I'm going to have a competitive attitude about the game. Coach Siegfried handled himself well, and I hope to be able to do that as a young coach. But I'm definitely going to have an attitude in terms of we're here to win, and I'm going to expect those things from my kids, and it's going to be no excuses. My dad always says excuses are nails that build a house of failure, and we're not coming into this season. I'm not coming in as a young coach ready to make excuses. We're gonna learn from our mistakes. We're gonna battle, and at the end of the day, we're gonna figure out what we need to get better. Also, Coach Larry Taylor. I've grown up around him my entire life. I know for some, very hard coach, but I've also got to see that closer relationship that he gets to have with kids. I worked some youth camps with him, and got to see him interact in that. And I love the way that he works with the youth in Stark County and around the surrounding areas. He does a phenomenal job with that. And then Coach Toth as well. I do mention Coach Chad Spurgeon at Perry, but I also had Coach Toth, Coach Vic. And both those guys committed a lot of time to me as a basketball player to get me better, and keep that confidence up in me. So although I'm young, once again, I am going to have an attitude. But I want that attitude understood, that I'm not coming from a place of anger. I'm coming from a place of care. I have expectations of my kids. I know what they're capable of, and I'm going to do everything I can to push them to that. With, once again, I'm not going to try to be demeaning. I can be demanding without being demeaning, and I can push these kids to the levels I know they're capable of. But at the end of the day, I've had a lot of coaches, especially Coach Spurgeon, Coach Joe Moriarty, also at Perry. He's actually the Fairless head coach now. They taught me that, a big way of making kids better is you got to stay positive in them. And if you can build up that confidence in a player, that's ultimately the type of coach I want to be. I would much rather be a coach that's, being able to coach through positivity than a coach who's just sitting there on the sidelines screaming and shouting. So that's the big thing here.
I love it, man. I am excited about the passion that you bring to the table. You can feel it. You're electric through even the camera there. The youth, the excitement, certainly something that Louisville is going to love. Last question before I let you go. You talked about your youth, but I think every program starts with the youth and kind of building from the bottom. For you, do you believe that? And how are you going to continue to build the next level of Leopards that you have from the bottom up?
Oh, Coach DeBevick and Coach Siegfried both taught me success starts with the youth. Our youth, I'm very lucky to kind of come into a situation where Coach Siegfried has done a lot of that front loading work, especially in his coaching years, getting this program to the point where it's at right now. I think we have 100 something kids coming to the youth camp in about a week and a half here, June 2nd through June 4th. But ultimately, it's not just the middle schoolers. It's not just freshmen. It's not just JV. It's not just varsity. This is going to be a family, and I want a family atmosphere. And that family starts with the youth. I want to make sure our high schoolers, especially our varsity and JV, are involved in as much youth as possible. Just going to practice or going to games and interacting with those kids. I know I would have been a substantially better basketball player had I have coached first and especially in the youth and learning from those mistakes. Braden Gross actually came into the middle school the other day. I teach 8th grade over at Louisville, and I asked him, what's one thing you regret in high school? And he says, I wish I would have interacted with the youth more. We did a signature night where the kids came up and they were getting signatures from all the players, and he had mentioned the smiles on the kids' faces was something that he wishes he would have done from the start. And I want to make sure that our high schoolers get to enjoy the youth and our youth get to enjoy the high schoolers, because at the end of the day, our family in this program is going to be from K all the way up to 12. And it's going to include teachers. It's going to include administration. It's going to include the Board of Education. It's going to include our custodians here. It's going to include the students, the youth, the alumni. Every single person in this community, I want them to feel a part of this family. And kind of like you touched on there, it's going to start with the youth. And I've got all the time in the world to be able to focus a lot of this summer before and after school. I've actually been coming in at 6 o'clock to work with some of our kids before school, because they've got stuff after school they're doing in terms of working at MyFit and doing some things like that. So a big focus here is going to start with our youth, because I plan to be here for a very, very long time. It's not just going to be for a 2-year stint. I want to make my own legacy here, and that's going to start with our youth. So
he's not just here for a good time. He's here for a long time. And the new head of the table for Louisville, brand new coach, David Wirtz. Coach, thank you for spending some time with us today. Continued success. I know I'm excited. I can only imagine how the community is feeling right now with you at the helm. Congratulations, my friend.
All right, DJ, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
You got it, pal. We'll see you soon.
That was David Wirtz, the new head coach of the Louisville Leopards. Man, I'm ready to go through a brick wall already. Is it hoop season? Man, they are in good hands. They are in really good hands. I love the things he talked about when he's talking about being demanding without being demeaning. And I think that's kind of lost because so many coaches are scared to even approach that line. And that's why a lot of these programs are becoming soft and they don't want to really have that standard of winning. And that's not the case in Louisville. It wasn't the case with Siegfried. It won't be the case with Coach Wirtz. So really, really happy to have him as a part of the YSN family, and can't wait to have more coaches' corners. We'll talk to him before the basketball season starts for sure with a coaches' corner, and then get his take on the summer and all the things they prepare for basketball. Can't wait for all the fun stuff that Louisville has in store. One thing you know about Louisville, no matter what, their schedule is going to be ridiculous. So we're going to have a lot of big games, not just in the region, but in the whole state of Ohio, that everyone will have their eyes on, because that'll be a reigning state champion. And that attracts a very good, very strong schedule. Not that they don't have it already, but when you win a state championship, everyone wants a little piece of you. So you're going to have a lot of teams, I think, that come to play Louisville that you're going to have a lot of eyes on for the state of Ohio. So we're really excited. We want to congratulate Coach Wirtz on the new job, and we are excited for the new era of Louisville basketball. So thank you, Coach Wirtz, for coming on and talking to DJ yesterday and giving us a little insight into the Louisville program. Next up, we have an interview with a guy that is in districts right now. He's ready to go for it tonight on the courts. We don't talk nearly enough about tennis, and that is going to change because we have a tennis extraordinaire. I was looking for the right word. Someone that has a family lineage that goes everywhere in this area, whether he knows it or not. There are A's everywhere. We're not talking about the grade A. We're talking about the family A. It's Andrew A. from Poland, the junior tennis player, the junior tennis star, playing in districts today. And we're gonna get ready for that with this conversation with Andrew A. from Poland Tennis. Anthony Hartwig here with a Poland Tennis player profile. We're joined by junior standout Andrew A. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Man, you've had a fantastic career so far as a
Thank
Bulldog, and
you.
here you are as an upperclassman. What's it feel like to now, not be a young kid anymore and to kind of be a veteran and to be
It
able
feel
to carry that experience?
Yeah. It's a definitely a different feeling, different opportunities. It's a great feeling, honestly, to kind of just see the younger generations too, newer players coming in, but also get to see the older players. I grew up with a lot of these kids that are graduating now, and they're real good guys, good players, and they're going to a lot of places, but it's also nice to kind of see the newer players and more people joining the game. And it's just, great community, great people. And I think that's really what tennis needs for sure. So,
I love that you brought that up because it is a sport. When we look at the kids that are going on the districts and the kids that have really put a stamp on it, whether you're talking about girls tennis in the fall or boys tennis in the spring, it's
yeah,
growing a lot in the area. We know that in the YSN family. How much
for
growth
sure.
do you
Yeah.
see in the sport of tennis just in the first 3 years that you've been a high school player?
Um, you know, it actually, in Youngstown, it isn't as big as it used to be. Um, Yeah, it's tough with just different kind of, organizations like Avalon taking over. It's been a shift, not good or bad, just neutral, but we got lots of new players, coming into the mix really through high school and different swim clubs. Like you'll have Canfield Swim Club, Porn Swim Club, places that are just, affordable and people who are really looking for, a good time to really just, have fun, find something they like to do. And it brings people in that are really interested in it. And you see it a lot with kids in tennis. Our team my freshman year, we had 7 kids on some days if we were lucky. Oftentimes we'd have a dude missing or someone couldn't come to a match. We'd have 6 players and wouldn't even be enough for a full roster. But this year, we have I think 14, 15 kids maybe. And yeah, it's the attendance really jumped up and it's really sweet to see other kids, kind of just getting into the sport either recreationally, competitively. It's a really great thing to see, from all perspectives.
How did you get into the sport of tennis? Let's talk about your beginnings of the
Oh,
journey. When did you kind of pick up a racket?
yeah. So I actually first started playing tennis when I was 3. But kind of being one of those kids who didn't really know what they wanted to do, like, tried different things like baseball, soccer, you know, it took me a while to really find, what I was interested in. And I think tennis really stuck. I enjoyed it, a lot, just getting to see the people. I kind of enjoyed the individual aspect most of all. I was able to kind of do my own stuff with it, whatever I wanted to kind of. So,
Yeah, tennis is a sport where yes, you're on a team, you have guys you have to support and build with you, but at the same time,
yeah,
when you're out there on the court, it's you and your opponent and nobody else.
for
Talk about
sure.
what
Yeah.
that's like, where it's kind of an individual sport, but you still have to balance the team aspect of being on a team. How do you balance that?
Yeah, it's interesting, with that. It can be tough sometimes, 100%. Yeah. My biggest thing is I'll usually play in the United States Tennis Association. So that'll be like different tournaments all throughout the year. Just go have a good time, play competitively, just try to, work on your game, focus on yourself. But then when it shifts to high school season, you got the team, it's a little more laid back in a way. And really it's the way it's built, it's so much fun. So we have a lot of good times, whether it's away games, home games. It's really great to see. You know, um, Even dudes from USTA. We'll see them during the season as well. Get to see my friends. Just have a little laid back time going to these matches, and we always have a good time. It's enjoyable.
Whether it be a coach or an instructor, whoever it may be, who is the person that you think is the most responsible for growing you into the tennis player you are today?
Ooh. Probably my first coach, I'd have to say. Her name's Susan Sanciola. she's like a drill sergeant, man, but she really helped me really improve my tennis game, throughout the years. She was the first coach I had when I kind of started taking it seriously around the age of 7. And I was with her for about, oh God, since I think the winter of this past year. And so we've been playing for a really long time now, but it is tough in a way because, you know, a lot of times you'll need a different aspect to your game, whether it's hitting hard, controlling the ball. Sometimes you just got to change coaches and, find what really works for you, your coaching style, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, Susan Sanciola was a big, big role in my kind of upbringing. So,
What is the hardest part of tennis for you to grasp? Like, what was the hardest part of the game
ooh.
for you to kind of master?
Definitely mental, I'd say. It's really something that just comes with experience. It's nothing really that it's not like a stroke. You just, forehand, backhand, you just go out and work on it. It's something that just, happens to you over time, whether it's playing tournaments or, playing matches or even just getting to know people out there and how they play. It's really just about what makes you confident as a player and realizing kind of like, your value too. So, and what you can really bring to the table.
All right, I want to talk about your family a little bit because we see that last name A sprinkled a little bit everywhere in the
Yeah.
community. I mean, it's all the
Yeah.
way. It's in Poland, it's in South Range, it's in Boardman, it's a little bit everywhere. Talk about what it's
Interesting.
like to be a part of this A family and how special it is to you.
Oh, it's really special for me. I actually don't know a huge number of my relatives. I know my uncle, um, yeah, my dad's brother, and my grandparents. But really, outside of Poland, I don't know too many names. I know my dad's cousin owns A Electric, though. Unfortunately, haven't gotten the chance. I don't think I've met him. Maybe when I was real young. But yeah, no, my grandparents are very they're headstrong, they're good people morally. And it really feels nice to kind of be just have a family with that kind of value and kind of their morals and what they like. So it's special for me, and kind of I think in a way that really helped me with my success in tennis is just they've always preached, work hard, be disciplined, on days you don't feel like doing it, just go out and do it, and they've always preached that to me from a young age and kind of really helped me with just everything in life. So,
We'll have to have an A family picnic in the summer to get
yeah,
all you guys to meet
for
each other
sure.
because there's a lot of
That would
great
be
athletes
awesome.
out there. Um,
Really, that's sweet.
when you think of your parents especially, I'm sure they've been a huge part of your journey and taking you all these places that you have to go for tournaments.
100%.
Talk
Yeah.
about how much their support and their tutelage has meant to you.
Oh, it's unimaginable. Honestly, the effort and, work they've put in to making me a better player and the best player that I could be. Almost it takes I'd even say it takes twice as much more work as me going out on a court and playing for a couple of hours. They have done everything from, taking me to tennis tournaments that are sometimes, it could be an hour away, could be 8 hours away. I remember going to tournaments in Georgia before. Um, and they just work so hard to, be able to get me to practices, and they spend a lot and just trying to really make me the best player I could be, and I thank them so much every day for I'm grateful for everything they've done for me completely. So
I'm sure your parents are kind of real life role models. Who are your tennis role models? Who are the people that you grew up like trying to idolize and trying to be like?
yeah, 100%. I'd say Rafael Nadal has been a huge part of like kind of who I idolize. Um, even in battles where he'll lose, he'll have a devastating defeat. Um, he doesn't let it affect him. He has one of my favorite quotes from him is Sorry, I have to think. It's losing isn't my enemy. Fear of losing is. And I really like that because that's something I struggle with too. I get worried, like, what if I'm not performing at the level I need to be? And, really, I play my best when I'm just, I don't think. I go out there and I just play. And another role model to me, I'd say, would be Yannick Sinner and Alcaraz. Just seeing these young dudes take over the game, it's a different level. It's a different level from what we're used to seeing. Even though these, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Federer, the big three have been so dominant for so many years. But once they got out of the game, these young guys just started picking it up. That was pretty cool to see.
If you had the chance to have like a one-on-one with Rafael Nadal, where you got to kind of pick his brain and ask him questions, what are some things that you think you'd want to know about his journey or the things that he does to become the tennis player he is?
I'd say, maybe the level of hard work that he's put into the game. It's always nice to get an estimate of like how much work they put in to be, who they are, and just be so dominant. I'd say another thing is too, like the struggles they've had, because I feel like that's the most important thing. So, if you don't go through struggles, you don't learn, and that's the biggest thing. So.
The last thing I want to do for you is give you the chance to talk about representing Poland and being able to represent your school and your athletics room. What does it mean to you to put that P on your chest and to represent Poland every time you go out there to play tennis for them?
It's huge. It means so much to me, honestly. Even, more than USTA, anything like that. I live in a community of just great people, super kind, I really have always been kind of like a shy kid, growing up, but the people I've met through Poland have really kind of made me who I am today. I'm comfortable, confident, and my friends, my boys, everybody, the teachers even, staff, they've all, built me up and helped me become the person I am today. I wouldn't be here without the support of my community, my parents, the coaches, people in my life, they're all from Poland. And it means a great deal to really put that kind of P, on my shirt and just go out there and, just fight, fight for my team and school. So
Andrew, we end these player profiles the same way every time, no matter who we're talking to. We want to give you the chance to take the limelight off yourself a little bit and shine on the
yeah,
people in your life that kind of mean the most to you, that have gotten you to where you are. So I want you to take the time to give out some thank yous and some shout outs to
for
the
sure.
people in your
Yeah,
life that you think deserve it.
100%. I want to say thank you first off to my parents. I would never be here where I am today without them. They have been the biggest role models in my life. They've given me more opportunities than I can even count. I mean, it's huge. And I want to thank everybody in the tennis community. I'll name a couple names here. George Barth, Cooper Grimm, Will Morjone, Mitch Marosher, Susan Sanciola, and Garrett Gardner. You guys have really helped me grow into the player I am today. I would not be as experienced and, just kind of I wouldn't have found my level really, and that has really helped me throughout my tennis career. And lastly, I just want to thank the school for giving me these opportunities and my team. You guys have worked so hard this year, and I'm proud of all of you boys. You worked so hard, and winning the NE8 is not the easiest thing in the world. You got pressure, stress, and you guys were able to confidently, you know, just go out there, have fun, and work your hardest. So I'm proud of you boys.
Andrew A., moving on, the districts, May 22nd and 23rd are when the district are going to be held. Andrew, thank you for so much for coming on, talking to us about your journey and your season so far. We want to wish you the best of luck in districts, and we hope that we can talk to you real soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
That was Andrew A. Man from Poland. He is a just fantastic athlete and so well spoken. I was so impressed in that interview because we hadn't been able to talk to him yet. So that was his first YSN player profile, and he nailed it like he'd been doing them his whole life. That A family, like I said, it's widespread. We need to get an A family picnic together because I don't think he even understands the scope of his family tree and how much success in athletics they've been able to have over the years. So maybe some A family picnics coming up to get him acclimated to just how powerful that A family really is in this area. What a great kid, though. All seriousness, districts coming up very soon. Today, in fact, we hope that Andrew has a very successful run in districts and a very successful meet today. And we wish him the best of luck. We're not done. We're not done by a long shot because we have another live interview coming up at 1 o'clock, which is what, minutes away? Where are we? What time are we at? 2 minutes away. 2 minutes away from 1 o'clock. Aiden Hill from Garrettsville Garfield. We've been talking him up all week for a reason. We were kind of giving you a little tease to the fact that Aiden Hill was going to be coming on the show today. Man, great athlete all around. Football, basketball, baseball. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Aiden Hill is a staple to every program he steps foot in. He'll be talking to us about being the ace of this Garfield team and how much success he and this G-Men team have been able to have. They're gearing up for a tournament game, I believe, tonight. So don't go anywhere because we're coming with Aiden Hill very, very soon. As we wait for him, let's take the opportunity to thank some of our sponsors, right? We will start with our good friends down at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same thing here on this show every single day. You know, one of the ways that Greenwood Chevrolet goes the extra mile for you, they support and realize how important it is to support the veterans and the military personnel of this country. Memorial Day is coming up, so Greenwood Chevrolet wants to remind you that veterans, active military members, and spouses are eligible, can be eligible for certain deals at Greenwood Chevrolet. You should go into their dealership today, check what your eligibility is, and go through the list of designated vehicles that fit into their discounted programs that they have for active military members and veterans today. So Greenwood Chevrolet, they don't just go the extra mile for you, they also go the extra mile for veterans and military personnel. So make sure they can take care of you today. Head on down to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We're going to head down to Garrettsville Garfield because we got a absolute monster coming on the show today. Someone that has been wreaking havoc in the MVAC grade tier. Seems like every single sports season. Doesn't matter when we're talking. And right now we're talking baseball. And on the mound, Aiden Hill is just lighting things up. Aiden, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it. Let's talk about this Garfield baseball team and how much success you've been able to have this year, especially you on the mound. What's been clicking? What's been working so well? I think everyone wants the blueprint on how to be Aiden Hill.
I think just if you throw over 85 in any league, I mean, you're going to be a pretty good pitcher. And then I just trust the defense behind me, and we field pretty well. And just, I think, I mean, if I'm on the mound, normally some of our games we only win 1-0, 2-0, which are mostly runs that the top of our lineup gets in. But when everyone puts the ball in play and we feel good, we just click.
Man, you're throwing gas, like you said, mid 80s, high 80s. What kind of work went into getting to that velocity? I mean, I'm sure you put in a lot of work to get there. How long did it take you to kind of get to that arm strength and get to that upper 80s velocity?
I mean, it's taken me I've been going at it, doing a ton of mechanic work, a ton of lifting for like 3 years now, just pitching wise. And then I think just playing baseball your whole life increases your arm strength. So, I mean, that obviously helps. I've played baseball since I was probably 5 years old. And then just a ton of mechanical stuff, watching replays, spin rate and stuff like that on the hit tracks. It just helps a lot.
You talked about it when you're on the mound, you know that your team is counting on you to hold teams down. And there's a lot of games on this schedule that are 1-0, 2-1 games when you're on the hill, no pun intended. What kind of pride do you have in being that guy that they rely on so much and that they trust to go on the hill and and put in that kind of work?
You know, I kind of learned from Eric. I mean, we always, every time he was on the mound, we knew that he was going to do his stuff, and we just had to get at least a 2-run lead, 3-run lead, and he'd do the rest for us. So I kind of learned off of Eric, and I've taken over that role this year. I mean, if I don't pitch good, then it's not going to be good, obviously. So I think most of that is just following the footsteps of the guys before me.
Baseball is such a sport that can be mentally taxing. We know that you're not always going to have your best day. Baseball is a sport that can humble you pretty quick. What do you do to stay mentally locked in throughout the season and not let yourself fall into the hills and valleys of baseball?
I think when you play baseball, you just got to have the next pitch mentality or next pitch, next play, because you make an error, you can't let that affect your at bat. You can't let a walk affect your next batter because you're not going to be a good baseball player. Baseball, you make mistakes 70% of the time and you're still a good player. So you just got to have the next pitch, next play mentality and even next game. Because especially with high school baseball, games are stacked right on top of each other. You're playing every day. So you just got to next pitch, next game mentality.
Next pitch, next play is harder for other guys than others. So where do you stand? Have you always been really good at that mentality, or have you had to kind of develop this ability to go to next pitch and try to work on that as your career has gone on?
I think I've had to develop it because, that's one of the biggest parts of baseball is the mental part. To grow as a baseball player, you have to grow mentally. So, I've definitely adapted and grew into that next pitch, next play mentality as I've gotten older.
You seem to have knocked down every goal that you probably set in the preseason this year so far as a personal goal setter. What were some of those goals that you set, and where are you on that goal list of things that you wanted to accomplish this year?
I really want to get Coach Pay's a district title. That was one of our goals, and obviously we haven't played our playoff game yet. We play tomorrow now. One of my other goals was to be Player of the Year in our league, which I accomplished. And I think just some of my other goals were just wins and stuff like that. And we have 14 wins right now, which is pretty good, I would say.
I want to talk about being MVAC Player of the Year and what that means to you. Like you said, that was a goal. And all the other teams in the MVAC respect you so much that they put you on that poster to say MVAC Player of the Year. What does that mean to you?
That just shows that other teams have respect for you. They know that, I've pitched against almost every team in the MVAC, and after every game, every coach, they tell me good job. They tell me good luck in college and that I got a good future ahead of me, and I just appreciate that other coaches can respect my game and respect what I do on the mound and at the plate.
All these MVAC teams, there's so many good ones, especially in baseball. Is there one that you get geared up a little bit extra for? Is there a rival that you think that it's developing in the MVAC that you know when they're on the schedule, like let's crank it up to 11?
I think for us, it's definitely LeBray because that was when we beat them last time we played them. That was my first time beating them in my high school career in baseball, and they got us in basketball too. So that's just an extra. I think Garfield LeBray is a good rivalry that's building up, and then I'd say Newton Falls too. They're a really good team, and I have a few buddies from there, so I was getting those games I got hyped up for too.
Whether it be basketball, baseball, football, it doesn't matter. You're kind of making impacts on all these teams. Talk about what it's like to kind of go from season to season and try to be a leader and a big impact in any way you can, no matter what sport you're playing.
Football, obviously, as a senior, you got to be a leader for the underclassmen. And we were kind of an underclassmen heavy team, football. So you just got to be a leader. And then you got to take that into every sport. Basketball, we were pretty senior heavy. We had 4 seniors that started. So, you just got to be a leader. And then obviously baseball, we only have 3 seniors. So you have to be a leader. You have to want to be there. You have to show the guys what to do at practice and stuff. It's kind of just the same mentality for each sport, especially at a small school like Garfield. There's kids that play every sport with me, like a decent amount of kids. So they know the mentality. They know what to do at practice. They know what they're expected of.
You're not saying no to baseball. We'll talk about your future in a little bit, but you did have to say no, say goodbye to basketball and football after your senior seasons. Which one was harder to kind of, accept that you were saying goodbye to, basketball or football?
It was both pretty. I mean, basketball I've been playing my whole life, so that was pretty rough. But I know basketball is like you can go play pickup basketball anywhere you really want. But football is really tough. I mean, that's you create best friends on the football field. You're never gonna play football like you do in high school ever again. There's no competitiveness like this. Unless you go to college. But saying goodbye to football is that's really rough because that's something you'll never do or like feel again.
You don't have to say goodbye to baseball. You're going to be playing that at the next level. For people that don't know, that maybe haven't been following you, that want to know, where are you continuing your baseball career?
It's Cal U in Pennsylvania. It's a D2 school, and they're in the PSAC.
What made Cal U feel like home to you? I'm sure the recruitment process probably had a lot of schools that wanted you. What was Cal U? What was their selling point? What was the thing that made you feel like that was where you wanted to land?
They don't have a huge roster size, which I really liked, and their campus their like campus and the town around it kind of reminds me of like home, Garrettsville, because small town. I mean, not a ton of crazy students. It's like almost the same small town mentality as Garfield, and I really like that.
I'm sure playing at the next level was a dream of yours for a long time. When you kind of made that a reality and you committed and said, I am going to be a college baseball player, what was that moment like for you emotionally?
Um, it was really like it's kind of like a relief because like it's hard to make a decision. You're like, I don't know where I'm gonna go. People are asking. It's a ton of pressure on you actually. Like people wouldn't expect it. Like I did not know how much pressure was gonna be on me before I committed. But once you commit, it's a huge relief. I mean, and it's just a time to be proud of yourself and look at all the things you've done.
Now that that pressure's off, like how much do you think you're free this year to just go and play baseball for Garfield as a senior? How much have you think that's kind of freed you up for that pressure, and how much of a better kind of locked in baseball player do you think you are now that all that pressure is off of you?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no pressure. I'm not getting scouted. I'm not trying to get stats. I mean, I just go out there and have fun. I mean, it's not like I'm not fighting for a spot. I mean, it's just I can go out there, have fun, do what I do. It just feels relaxing. I mean, and I just really like to have fun with it.
Do you have a good idea of what you want to study at Cal when you go there?
I'm thinking business, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So I think I'm gonna go in as undecided my first semester.
When you're starting to lean business, is there something that kind of guides you towards that? Do you have some business owners in the family that kind of show you, what kind of business is all about?
Um, Not really. I think it's just so I just like that area, and I just think it's so broad. I mean,
Mhm.
with a business degree, you can get most jobs. So I mean, because every like company needs someone that studies business, obviously. So I mean, it's just so broad, and I just think because I was also thinking sports management when I was younger, but you can get like a sports management job with a business degree.
Mhm.
So I kind of want to stay in the sports area too, maybe.
You talked earlier about how much you wanted to get Coach Pay's the district championship, and he obviously means a lot to not just you, but the other seniors in this program. Talk about what he's kind of brought to your life as a baseball player and how much that being under his tutelage has kind of meant to you throughout the years.
Coach Bays is definitely one of the greatest coaches I've ever had. I mean, I love him. He's just like he's kind of just like one of us as a player. Like we can talk to him like he's one of us. He's just a great coach. Nothing's ever. I mean, whenever we need to be serious at stuff at practice, we do. But then we also have fun at practice. We're not the most serious team in the world, obviously, but he's just a great coach. He's been a great mentor. He's not just taught me how to play baseball, but he's also taught me how to be a man. And I mean, I see him with his kids, and he's a great father. So I think he's just a great guy.
You don't go through 4 years of baseball and get to the level that you've gotten without facing some kind of adversity along the way. Can you kind of talk about what your biggest form of adversity you think has been throughout your high school career, and then tell us kind of how you got through it and how you saw the light at the end of the tunnel?
So I had two surgeries on my left ankle, which really, I mean, they were like 3-4 month recoveries. They really set me back. But I just learned that like you have to adapt. I mean, I was throwing from my knees every day. I was only lifting upper body and stuff like that. So I mean, I just learned to adapt, and I mean, overcoming that is you can like just seeing your progress from where I couldn't walk to now I'm running and hitting PRs on the mound. It just feels great.
Coming back from something like that takes nothing but determination and fire. What kind of kept you determined and fired up to kind of work so hard to get back to where you were?
I just knew that my teams needed me, and I didn't want to. I mean, you get 4 years of high school sports, and I was just trying to get back as fast as possible, just so I don't miss as many high school sports as I did. Because I mean, you only get to experience that for so long, and it was really rough sitting out and watching my friends play, and I wasn't able to do anything when they lost, or I was, it's just hard to like sit on the sidelines. So I just really wanted to get back on the field and get back on the court and stuff like that.
Aiden, I like to ask this with multiple sport athletes. It's going to be my last question for you. You've experienced a lot of moments in sports, in football, and basketball, and in baseball. What do you think is the best moment or best feeling in any sport? If you had to pick one feeling in any sport, what do you think
Ooh.
would be the best one?
Like a feeling I've had, like
Yeah,
all
like
time, or
maybe
just
like
like in
it's getting a
general.
big strikeout, hitting a big shot in basketball, laying some big hits in football, maybe a home run. What do you think is the best feeling?
I think it's either hitting a home run or scoring a touchdown. It's got to be one of those.
You've done a lot of both of those in your career, Aiden. We want to thank you so much for coming on. But before we let you go, we always want to give the player the chance to kind of take the limelight off themselves a little bit and thank the people in their life that have kind of been there for them along the journey. I want to give you that chance too. I want to give you as much time as you want to give out some thank yous and some shout outs to some people in your life that you think really deserve it.
Definitely my mom and dad. I mean, they've always been there for me. I was there. My dad and mom were taking me to doctor's appointments far away from my ankle, hours away, surgeries, taking care of me while I couldn't walk, and stuff like that. I want to thank, obviously, Coach Pays, all my other coaches, Coach Mosier, Coach Oleski. Um, also my friends. I mean, my friend Cade Rock, he's always been there for me. Nick Edick, always. I mean, just having those people there for you in your life, it just really helps.
Aiden, we want to thank you again for coming on. We have loved having you a part of the YSN family. We wish you the best of luck the rest of this season. We hope it goes as far as you can possibly carry it. We've loved having you at the All-Star Game, so we hope that we can have you again June 15th, Father's Day. Come on down to Scene Park. We'll take care of you as a part of the All-Star Game, all right?
All right.
All right, Aiden.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
again
me.
for the time. We'll see you again real soon, buddy.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
You got it. Aiden Hill from Garrettsville Garfield, the ace on the mound for Garfield. Want to thank him so much for coming on. We've wanted to have him on all season. We finally get a hold of him. Finally get able to have him on. Man, such a great athlete. And I want to stress that word, athlete. He's not just a great baseball player, which he'll be going on and playing that sport in college. That's his number one. But excellent basketball player that we had at the All-Star Game for basketball. Excellent football player. If we had a football All-Star Game, he would definitely be a part of that too. Just someone that just steps into any room, and as soon as he steps in, he's locked in. Like he's going to dominate that room that he steps into. He's one of those alpha dogs, right? It's rare to get a kid that is 15, 17 years old. 15. I mean, he's been and be alpha, right? But doesn't matter how old he is, when he steps into a room, whether it be when he was a sophomore, when he was a junior, now when he's a senior, doesn't matter. He was just one of those guys that stepped into a room and you just kind of knew he's got something going on. Love talking to him. Great interview. Thanks for coming on, Aiden. Before we wrap this show up, we want to get back to our sponsors. We got Greenwood Chevrolet. We know that they're taking care of their veterans with Memorial Day coming up on Monday. We also want to go and talk about Toyota of Warren. Toyota of Warren takes you places, right? They are taking you places. And you know what? They take us places all the time. The Toyota Tundra, YSN, the YSN Mobile, it's always out there. DJ, when you see the YSN Toyota Tundra, you know DJ's doing something cool, right? So make sure to keep an eye out for that. But also keep an eye on a special deal they got going on with their Toyota Corolla, 2025 Toyota Corolla LE. This deal is happening until June 2nd. And it is a good one. $219 per month, and $3,299 do it signing. That's a great deal for a 2025 Toyota Corolla. So go down there to Toyota Warren, check out the Corolla and everything else they have on their lot today. Maybe get a test drive. Say hi to Tino for us. Tell him YSN sent you. Get yourself in a Toyota Corolla today. This offer ends on June 2nd, so you don't want to miss it. The clock, it is a ticking. June 2nd, not as far away as it might feel. It feels like May is kind of swept right by. It feels like it shouldn't be as close to June as it is. We're sitting on May 23rd. So June 2nd is less than 2 weeks away. So you want to make sure to take care of that deal. If you want a new car, the 2025 Toyota Corolla is sitting on that lot, and they have a special deal for you with it until June 2nd. So head on over to Toyota Warren. They'll take you places. We want to take you places too on this show. That'll do it for this episode. We want to wrap it up with the way we do all the time, every day. Fridays are no different. We'll have some electricity. We'll go to Joe Dickey Electric, and we'll get you a spark. Right? We got to spark up a Friday. Joe Dickey Electric for all your electricity needs, whether it be a simple installing a light bulb or a big corporate electricity job that you need for your new building. Whatever you need, Joe Dickey Electric, they have you covered. My spark today is just thankfully that the skies have stopped. We are no longer dealing with rain. Now we do have some cancellations because of field conditions, unfortunately, some moving to different parts, but it looks like we're going to get baseball and softball played today. Maybe not every game played today, but we're going to get some played, which is just, it's postseason. You want to be out there. You want to play. Not the warmest weather in the world, but you're going to be out there and you're going to be playing, which we love. Want to wish all the best luck to every team that is playing in either a district championship for softball or a sectional championship for baseball tonight. Stay tuned to our website because we have 3 softball games on the network tonight. We have Maplewood versus Cuyahoga Heights. Thanks to the wonderful sponsorship from Gibson Insurance Agency. We have Fitch versus Strongsville at 3 o'clock. Ty Bartell on the call there. Thanks to the Fitch Athletic Boosters. Whoa, sorry about that. And at 4 o'clock, we have Louisville taking on Revere. And that'll be Rob Johnson on the call. That is thanks to the wonderful sponsorship of Zealous Nutrition. So Zealous Nutrition, Gibson Insurance Agency. By the way, Noah Ricks will be on the call for Maplewood and Cuyahoga Heights. 5 o'clock for that one. So you have 3, 4, and 5. We have softball all day for you, starting in about an hour and a half. So make sure to check it all out. ysnlive.com/live. That's where you can take it. And a reminder going forward, if you want your team covered throughout their tournament run, if they make it to a regional and you want it covered, get to us early. Get a sponsor lined up. It's $200 per game. We have to supplement the cost that we have to pay to the OHSA. So make sure you get those sponsorships in if you want your team's tournament games covered, whether it be baseball or softball. We'll be there for you if you get a sponsorship. So that being said, one last house cleaning before we get out of here. No show on Monday. We are taking off for Memorial Day. We are memorializing people, especially our military. We are extremely thankful for our veterans and our military personnel. So we are going to give them the respect they deserve by taking off on the show on Monday. So me and DJ will be back on Tuesday at noon. We have a couple of guests already lined up for Tuesday. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned for our social media pages for who will be on. But until then, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. And as always, may the sports be with you. This was YSN Live.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.